Hello everyone and welcome for what is now at least the final broadcast here on the Racing Line Broadcasting Network, bringing you race number 5 of the Roaring Thunder Racing League here at Martinsville for 175 laps. I recommend if you want to race with these guys, go ahead and check them out on iRacing. Next week is south of Boston for 200 laps, but for us it's going to be the last broadcast for now, at least until further notice. So the point standings as of last week were Charles Smith finally broke the 3-week stranglehold that Jeremy Horn had. Charles Smith is third in points. Joshua Jones is a runner-up in second. First place, Jeremy Horn still. So those 3 wins really helped him out in a very, very big way. So the rest of the point standings is also being shown here on your screen right now. Qualifying still underway. 1 minute 35, actually scratch that, 1 minute 30 seconds remaining as of right now. So 1 minute 30 seconds remain in qualifying. Everyone making their laps, everyone doing some practice laps as well. And at least one thing. About 11 drivers have qualified. Jim Whaley Jr. is just sitting at the start-finish line, actually, so he's probably as small of a break as possible. Or just want to make sure that he can make it to the start-finish line. So, of course, again, final broadcast for now, so that's pretty much until further notice. And 15 seconds will remain in qualifying. A maximum of 11 drivers have qualified for this race. Here once again at Martinsville Speedway for 175 laps. Unfortunately, this is the incorrect camera angle that we have, so your starting grid here for this race. Race number 5, Joshua Jones starts in the first place position. Starting to his outside will be the number 41 of Shane Gross. Here's your front row, and Joshua Jones in that Ace Hardware. I love that paint scheme, actually. That looks amazing. Can we get a better camera angle? Yeah, there we go. That's the camera angle that we want. Charles Smith right behind in that Mopar paint scheme over there, and Jeremy Horn starts to his outside in his usual Bass Pro Shops paint scheme. Kyle Nadeau, who is not related to Jerry Nadeau. I found that out last week, so unfortunate. And oh gosh, hello. Ironically, Hendrick, teammates, if you will, in terms of paint scheme, starting side by side. Kyle Nadeau in the 97 with Lowe's. Noah Lewis in the 98 with Exalta. I swear that's a coincidence for their car numbers, right? And their paint schemes? Or did they somehow plan this? Andrew Moraz in the number 22 will be starting in the 7th place position in his usual Ford EcoBoost paint scheme. Goes outside Paul Hopkins in at the number 25. Running at the top 10 is... No, scratch that. Said somebody's name incorrectly. I said the incorrect name for somebody. Yeah, Paul Hopkins. Alright, we're good. Sorry about that. Don Phelps starts in the number 45 in the 9th place position. And then to his outside will be the number 3 of Jeff Dotson. Then the next row we have Mark Koshik in the number 33 machine as per usual. Jim Whaley Jr. to his outside in the 12th place position in the number 46. Joshua Weatherspoon and James Kmart start 13th and 14th. They did not put in a qualifying time. Stephen Leffler, he is here. Paul Cohen, I don't know if he's not. every single time, even if it was already caught fully on camera. So entering turn number 1. So Smith maybe all into wide. It's not exactly smart. He's making 3 wides. Tags 97, turns him around. Despite contact and possibly slightly either 0 or just very, very minor damage. Not exactly a good move this early on for a 3 wide. I mean, if it works in the closing laps, then it works. And it did, screens. Not sure about that, to be honest. Looked over to our secondary system and saw a little bit of stuttering, but looks like we are fine. So Smith and many others exiting pit road as of right now. So basically we're going to something track corner. So as you can see, the rubber is already built up essentially and already about 19 to 20 laps in, so it's going to be interesting to see out as the green flag is back out this time around. Already a huge shot from the as the 3 did not get going, so the inside looks like Dotson for any audio errors that we have had. Hopefully that is fixed right now. 35 of Phelps looks like he's making a quick pit stop, but right now for 3rd place will be Shane Gross trying to get to the inside Charles Smith, and I feel like Smith is, I don't think he's enjoying this too much. He was under attack by Jeremy Horn earlier, and now he's under attack by Shane Gross. Except Shane has not yet made the move to the inside, so what the 41 could be doing is just weighing it out, or going to take an opportunity like so in the turns 1 and 2. Goodness, look at how close that 41 is on the back bumper of Charles Smith. Goodness gracious. a brewing battle for third, essentially. Into the inside goes Shane Gross. He'll get the run off turn number 4. They'll make that pass happen, entering turns 1 and 2 now. This time around, side by side, that 12 is trying to battle back on the outside. He gets the run off, and I believe Gross was actually a little bit loose off turn number 2. The longer these two stay side by side, the more the drivers behind can catch up, but it looks like the 41 will get that run off to number 4 and move Shane Gross into the podium position number 3. Steven Leffler is in 5th, and that number is 72. Koshik in 6th, just riding in the back, and then Lewis is going to be recovering just from slight contact, actually, essentially being involved in the first caution that we had earlier on. But for now, Joshua Jones all the way out in the lead in front, and he's doing an amazing job compared to, essentially last week's winner. Let's go with that, compared to Charles Smith. Then you'd say, well, obviously, as it is by both position, but also by lap time, is that Joshua Jones, his previous lap time at the start-finish line was a 22.331. Charles Smith with a 22.588, and right now he's running the high line, trying to salvage whatever he can at the moment, although it is early on in the race. So what the number 12 could be doing is being very conservative. Oh gosh, that was very close by Leffler. Almost made contact and almost ended up turning the 12 of Smith around in turns 3 and 4. So luckily everybody's still going, and it wouldn't have been the first time, unfortunately, that Smith was almost turned around. A misjudgment, essentially, of positioning and speed. After number 2, you can see how close all these drivers are. We'll see it once again this time around. After number 2, look at the outside wall, and then, oh wow, Leffler with a great save. Koshik didn't really have any momentum at the time to make an opportunity to make a pass on the outside, but it is Martinsville, and I'm not sure why you would want to make a pass on the outside, but if it works, then it works. And you can see Jeremy Horn and then number 14 making his way around James Capehart, who's, I believe, in a completely inverted color paint scheme now. I believe that's a different paint scheme from last week, or compared to last week, I should say. Noah Lewis just sliding up the racetrack ever so slightly and a little bit loose off turn number 2, but he managed to keep it straight. Still going forward and using that side lane to actually not, I believe actually, that's more of a tactic to not run to the person that's in front of you, which is smart, but also it could be used as a strategy as well. But right now, Jeremy Horn is in the process of possibly going to get by that number 98, and possibly this next corner we'll find out. And looks like Lewis will let the 14 by it. It's great sportsmanship being shown there, and Lewis unfortunately will, I believe he almost came down behind the 14, but then here comes Capehart. Oh gosh. Capehart to the inside and Lewis way up the racetrack. He does keep it off the outside wall though. Praying for some bad luck for this race, unfortunately, but nonetheless, he does have a very, very long time to make up whatever he needs to. Jeff Dodson, number 3, going 1 lap down. Actually, scratch. Yeah, 1 lap down. Apologies for that. Thought it was actually have Kyle Nadeau, Michael Palmer, and Paul Hopkins also 1 lap down. Don Phelps 3 laps down. And I believe Dodson also made contact with the wall off turn number 4 just a few moments ago. And the only reason why Jeff Dodson is in this position, the only reason I can think, is that Dodson had unfortunately made some contact with the outside wall coming off turn number 2. So Dodson taking the very high lane. And your leader, Joshua Jones, has been leading almost every single lap, essentially, ever since the start of this race. Andrew Moraz and Shane Gross, 22 and the 41 respectively, they are making up positions 2 and 3, or podium position as well. And a little bit of lap time comparison for these two drivers will be Andrew Moraz with a 22.8. Shane Gross with the exact same time, but Moraz, his time is going to be a little bit slower. He got loose off turn number 2 and just barely scraped the outside wall. You can see the difference there, 1.7 at 33 seconds, and heavily off the corner off turn number 4. That takes it down at least a tenth for the time being. 2/10 faster in terms of lap times, and Moraz is pushing it way too much. It's only lap 42, so essentially all this is doing is just slowing him down. It's not really making him faster, so it either could be handling, or he just has a lot of damage on the right-hand side of his car. So he once again hits the wall off turn number 4, slides up the racetrack. Unfortunately, this is giving the opportunity for Shane Gross. 2/10 closed in that last time around through the corner. Another thing for the lap times is that it was 22 seconds. Now it's 23 seconds. The tires are definitely wearing out right now. No doubt the right front tire is absolutely getting destroyed on the car of Joshua Jones. Started first, he's still first. His previous lap time as of right now is essentially 22.83. Moraz had a 22.773. And Shane Gross is also another 22.7, so these drivers are essentially a tenth quicker. But now Shane Gross has to worry about the driver that's right behind him, which is Mark Koshik and Jeremy Horn and the 72 of Leffler. Somewhere in the back is Charles Smith over there in the very distant 7th place position at the moment. Just leading a little bit of a train of cars, essentially, is... Oh man, loose in the middle of the back straightaway. Somebody else is loose very much. I believe that was Charles Smith. That was a 49, goodness, of James Capar, who must make contact. Trying to dive it into the corner and find momentum is that number 33 of Koshik. You can see clearly that now the inside line of the racetrack, where that light gray portion of the track is, which I believe is actually concrete, is very, very heavily rubbered in. Parts of the turn in through turns 3 and 4 are also starting to get rubbered in as well. So a lot of tires being used up at this racetrack. We no doubt will be seeing these drivers pit. They've already pit at least once during the caution. And that was a very long while ago. Essentially, that stint was about this current stint is about 33 laps. So we could be seeing these drivers pit maybe about 7 or so laps time. So maybe 55 laps to 60 laps. We should be seeing these drivers pit, or maybe fuel. It's definitely tires, but if these drivers can stretch it out, it will be at the very most just fuel. Passing in the back, going on for position number 8. James Capehart in the 49 trying to get by Charles Smith, who just powers back on the outside. I think with Charles Smith in the outside lane, he's making that work as much as possible on the exit of the corners. He's doing a great job at that too, defending his position. Unfortunately, though, Capehart does get by, but props to that 12 for making that outside lane work whenever he needs it to. Witherspoon up to 7th, actually. Nope. Witherspoon has been in 7th for quite a while. He will be under attack by the 49. Most, essentially, probably in about 3 or so laps time. Back to the lap time comparison. As it looks like Andrew Mraz is starting to lose his pace now, and well, there it is clearly entering turns 1 and 2 and exiting turn 2 as well. Very, very loose on the middle of the back straightaway. He's pushing the car very, very hard, trying to stay in front, but unfortunately, though, that's just going to mess him up a very large amount. He'll stay up high and let the 41 car go for 2nd place. Here comes Jeremy Horn to the outside. He's in the top 5 now, trying to get by Koshik for 4th place, or scrub off speed on the top side to avoid hitting him in the back bumper. Spinning him out by mistake in the process. If that does happen, he'll make his move to the inside. Trying to get by Koshik as Gross is trying to get by Mraz. So 2 battles for 2 different positions. Looks like Shane will let the 22 go onward, and then he'll dive it down to the inside in the middle of turns 1 and 2. Door contact. Exiting the corner ever so slightly. Not a lot, but just enough to loosen up that 22. Dives it into the top side. Makes a few tire marks as well. This is going to stack everybody up. Koshik can't find the line. No, he'll make one for himself by diving it in to the inside of Mraz for 4th place. Can't get it done though. Jeremy Horn will be making his move for 3rd place. Here's essentially the entire battle. And all over the back bumper is Leffler of Koshik for a few moments there, and Jeremy Horn makes his way up to 2nd. Shane Gross tries to make a crossover attempt on the inside lane. Can't get it done, unfortunately. Just barely gets to the back bumper off turn number 2. And look at that 72 of Leffler. He'll dive it in, and he'll take out the 23 by mistake. Can he save it? Ever so slightly. That counts as a save if it doesn't hit the wall or spin completely around. Unfortunately, though, Leffler misjudged that speed heavily, and I think his right front tire is getting very worn out now. Essentially, it's already pretty much worn out, but I think he just wore that out even more, and that right front tire is worn down to the point where he tried to dive it in, thought he could make it stick, and he couldn't stick, unfortunately, for that 72. Thankfully, though, Witherspoon is still going strong, however, in the top 10, rounding out the 10th place position, actually. So Joshua Jones just now enters turns 1 and 2 and exits that as Jeremy Horn just now crosses the start-finish line. Essentially about half track separates 1st and 2nd. Roughly a second separates 2nd and 3rd, and well, no distance between 3rd and 4th, as right now Koshik finally makes his way back up to the 22. Battle of the double-digit singular numbers, if that doesn't make any sense. 22 versus 33. Mraz using that top side. Leffler in the background on the right-hand side of your screen, trying to get by the 49 of Capehart for 6th. Koshik to the inside with the advantage. Mraz dives it in on the outside lane. Capehart and Leffler sort that battle out for now. Off turn number 4, however, Koshik clears Mraz for the most part, but decides to keep it down to the inside, and there's a reason why. That momentum entering turn 1 helps out that 22, but now Koshik clears off turn number 2. He doesn't slide up fully yet, as there's that diving once again onto the outside lane, and Koshik now clears the 22, who gets very loose off turn number 4. Wearing down those tires as much as he can, trying to stick with at 33, but it does not work, unfortunately. About for 6th place. Sorry about that. That's actually the 49 and 72. And slides up the racetrack as Capehart to the inside is going to be Leffler. Dex Imagining versus In-N-Out Burger. Never thought I'd say that before, but that's essentially how it is. Capehart will let Leffler by on the inside. And heavily into the outside wall off turn number 2, and that nearly takes out the number 12 in the process. second time Charles Smith just barely lucked out. I think the 49 got a little bit loose as well in the middle of the back straightaway, trying to keep it straight. So unfortunately, that just adds a little bit more to the damage and the panic factor, if you will. Joshua Witherspoon is now in 9th. At number 97 of Kyle Nadeau is now in 11th. Unfortunately, 1 lap down, and somebody can thank for this, I guess, is Joshua Jones. A very, very long green flag run has been made. Essentially, this green flag run has been going for 51 laps now, actually. And somebody who hasn't pit since the first lap is somebody who hasn't pit at all, actually, was Jeff Dotson. I don't think he's taken tires, to be honest, but our stint is showing 65. Maybe that would be completed laps. Although he is 2 laps down, so that would make sense. So this stint has been going on for now 52 laps. So I was incredibly incorrect, unfortunately, about the next pit window. Jeremy Horn, either way, is now up to 2nd place, with a gap that's separating these first 2 drivers by almost 9 seconds. And here is one way we can do a visual, is that here's Alpha in the back straightaway and just now entering turn 1. So essentially, when Joshua Jones comes across the start-finish line right here, Jeremy Horn is just entering turns 3 and 4 at the Pepsi logo. Meanwhile, the battle going onward for... Actually, no, that's not a battle. Apologies for that. It's actually Don Phelps letting the lead lap cars go forward using the top lane. Being sportsmanlike and staying as high as he can without running himself into the outside wall. 71 laps in, and Joshua Jones has led almost every single one of those laps. Jeremy Horn, oh gosh, almost makes contact with the 25 of Phelps. Sorry, incorrect driver. That's actually the 25 of Paul Hopkins, not Don Phelps. Apologies for that. Dan Gross in the 41 still manages to fend off the 33 of Koshik, who is in 4th place, top 5. Running at the top 5 is Mraz, who is still very much pushing that car as much as he can. We're going to go through your entire field before we head to, essentially, for me, a voice break. So, in a way, a commercial break, but without commercials, where you guys can just watch and listen for a few laps. But first, your entire field is Joshua Jones. He started first. He's currently in first. Your pole sitter led almost every single lap today. Jeremy Horn, 2 positions up as he had started 4th. He's currently 2nd, running at your top 3 for the moment. Shane Gross, 1 position down from where he starts, still going strong. Koshik is in 4th place, up from an 11th place position. Andrew Mraz is 5th place right now for the moment. Steven Leffler, oh my goodness. Steven Leffler, 15. He started 15th and is currently in 6th place. I say currently, as these 2 positions may be swapping in a few moments. Witherspoon in 7th. 8th place, Charles Smith, unfortunately 5 positions down. He's still going strong in the top 5. Jim Whaley Jr. may be getting a top 10 finish as of right now. 100 laps remain on the board, with him in 9th place. James Capehart in the 49, he is in 10th place. 1 lap down, unfortunately, is going to be Kyle Nadeau. 2 laps down is Jeff Dobson in number 3, he's 12th. 13th, also 2 laps down, directly behind, no less. It's going to be Michael Palmer. Could be a change for position there in a few laps' time. Paul Hopkins, 14th. 15th is Don Phelps, who's trying to stay out of the way as much as possible. He's doing a great job at that right now. And unfortunately for Noah Lewis, he's actually 19 laps down. Not sure what actually happened to him. I know he ran into some trouble earlier, so he doesn't have any damage actually. 19 laps down, 20 laps down now. We're seeing if we can get an alternate angle. I don't see anything on his car really, so unfortunately for Noah Lewis, he is at the moment out of the race, but We'll be finding that out possibly by the end of this race, and essentially 37 and a half minutes time as of right now, based on our estimate of how quick this race is going. So for now, I will be on a voice break, and you guys can just right now enjoy the sound of the cars hanging around this racetrack. This is the Roaring Thunder Racing League here at Martinsville for race number 575 laps, where 80 of them are about to be completed. The big crash on the front straightaway just as we were looking at that battle for 6th place. And Nadu is unfortunately involved in that as well. Goodness gracious, I was about to type in that battle for that position, and it looks like just a bit of a miscommunication, unfortunately, on the part of the number 23 of Witherspoon and the 3 of Dotson. After number 4, Palmer in the 31 stays low, and I think Dotson moved out ever so slightly. 25 gets involved. Mraz also involved. 20, 72, 46, 12 of Smith. Many drivers, unfortunately, involved in this. Oh gosh, oh man, the 76 is your leader too. He came up just ever so slightly in the tail end of this. Fun fact, that racing stint was 73 laps, by the way, according to Charles Smith, who has not yet pitted, and looks like he will be pitting eventually, I should say. I mean, you have to 73 laps on the same set of tires, but nonetheless, a huge crash off turn number 4, and just from a slight mismovement, too. Ooh, hello. Oh, just ever so slightly contact from the back. I think that was from the 45 as well. And that Joshua Jones goodness, apologies for that. Joshua Jones had really lucked out after all of that, and that race lead that he had, it almost completely ended up going up in smoke. Right now, 33 and a half minutes estimated remaining in this race with 86 laps to go. Let's see if we can catch an interview with one of the drivers if possible, possibly the 76er Jones if he is available. Wait for the pace car across the start-finish line this time by, actually, before we do absolutely anything. Just so we know that we're not interviewing him on the last lap of caution. Man, these cautions go by quick. Welcome to Martinsville, everybody. The pace car lights are out. Joshua Jones going to be bringing the field to the green flag this time by 75. Roughly 72 to 75 laps was our previous racing stint, that green flag run that we had. Can we have the same for the second half of this race? 76 of Jones, 41 of Gross, 33 of Mark Koshik, Jeremy Horn, and fifth is going to be Charles Smith. So you're back under the green flag conditions this time by, bound for third place. And wait a minute, whoa, hold on. Joshua Jones, he must have gotten a speeding penalty. This is the only reason why he could be pitting. Oh my goodness. This is devastating for, it has to be a stop and go penalty. Well, Shane Gross now takes over the lead. We'll be waiting at the very least for Jones for a speeding penalty. Could be about a 5-second pit stop. 5-second stop and go penalty. We're going to find out. Maybe just a stop and go penalty. Yep, it was just a stop and go penalty for what looks to be 5 seconds. And now he'll definitely be put a lap down. Here comes a 41 of Shane Gross, the leader. And unfortunately, have to go through pit road again just to avoid getting in anybody's way. Jones from the pole sitter on the lead lap to 1 lap down, which is unfortunately at the moment soon to be 2 laps down. This time what Jones can do is just pass right through pit road, but for now Shane Gross is in the lead. 80 laps to go. Ah, that is absolutely devastating for the 76 of Jones. And no, he has to serve another penalty, I believe. I have a spin off turn number 2. Not sure who that was. I saw tire smoke. Either way, it looks like it was a 97 of Kyle Nadeau. It may have been. Still in pit road. Maybe 96 of Jones. He's just now leaving pit road. Maybe I had to serve a longer penalty. Not sure what had happened to him there, but nonetheless, well, you currently have your top 3 set right now, which is Shane Gross, Jeremy Horn, and Mark Koshik. The 41, 14, and 33. Koshik is the only driver in the, well, essentially Koshik, wow, heavily loose off the corner, was at 22 Mraz, gosh. Still pushing that car is at number 22 as fast as possible, but right now, Mark Koshik, essentially, if he had +1 essentially on both digits of his number, we'd have the entire top 3 with with drivers with the number 4 in their car numbers in the top 3. So that'd be pretty interesting. Shane Gross with the 41, Jeremy Home with the reverse of 14, and then Mark Koshik with the 33, foregoing anything involving a 1 or a 4. Okay, that may be broken now because here comes Jim Whaley Jr. now, slowly making his way up to Mark Koshik, and Whaley ran into a lot of bad luck, and he still has. Look how much damage he has on that front end of his car. He somehow managed in 4th place. Goodness. That is absolutely amazing performance right there. Comes 22, a little bit of a shot in the middle of the corner. Gets a piece of the apron in the process, but for Whaley, he started 12th, he's up to 4th. That is 8 positions up from where he started. And it looks like Noah Lewis, unfortunately, has retired the race car. Unsure why as of right now, but hopefully he will be able to redeem that run for next week, which is at South Boston for 200 laps, essentially. So a very small track with a very long race. Happens all at South Boston. Unfortunately, as mentioned, as we're just looking through your field right now, so I will bring up the drivers tab so we can see who is in what position while I go through the field and talk about for essentially future plans for essentially this Racing Line Broadcasting Network. Hello, Koshik. Goodness gracious, that is all right. That's a good save there, man. Koshik also pushed. There's a lot of people pushing the car, and somehow they're managing to hang on to it. So top 3 still remain the same. Jim Whaley Jr. in 4th. Running out the top 5 for now is going to be Andrew Mraz, and then we have the rest of your field with Charles Smith. So for future plans of essentially me and broadcasting, as Leffler in the 72 tries to make his way to the inside of 45, essentially anything that was planned to be broadcasted will not, so understandable by Jeff Dotson, so thanks to him. Comes a 76, who unfortunately has a few laps down. James Capehart in the 49. In positions up from 14th, currently in 8th. Joshua Witherspoon in his low lonesome, but it's a comfortable lonesome. Calney rounds out the top 10. Oh boy. Almost got tagged by the 45 of Phelps in the process, too. Meanwhile, Joshua Jones, he started first, and well, now he's 10 positions down from where he started. Paul Hopkins, 12th, 13th, Don Phelps, 14th, and running in the field is going to be Jeff Dodson. Michael Palmer, Noah Lewis, and Paul Cohen round out your drivers that are not here, and Kyle Nadeau took a little bit of a spin in turns 1 and 2. And both sides of that race car are completely destroyed, and well, it's Martinsville for you. Not sure what had really happened. That actually happened ever since we cut away from him. So the 45 almost tags him. Actually, does manage to break in time. Slows it up to let everybody by. Gets the low side, gets a piece of the grass, and unfortunately spins it right around in the middle of the racetrack, and that's why the caution had to be thrown. I think I'll wait a bit, actually, as we have many drivers in pit road right now. 41 currently at your leader. Well, forego all that. Oh, Charles Smith, he's outside of his box at number 12. I don't think that'd be... No, that actually does count as a pit stop somehow. Huh. Well, that's a first. I actually thought that Smith would have to back up and then pull into his pit stall, but somehow that's counted by iRacing. Anyway. The 41, we have Koshik, and Smith comes off in 4th. With third. We'll find out. Whaley Jr. may have beaten him off of pit road. And Whaley Jr.'s actually got something in the back of the score. See if we can get a shot of that Owens, but back to the original topic is that, again, this is our final broadcast for now. Essentially, reason why basically just need a break, also life. And I have a sneaking suspicion that the pace car has its lights off. Nope, it doesn't. Alright, pace car lights are still on, but this is more than likely the 2 lap to go portion of the yellow flag period. Let's see if we can get on board Charles Smith and let's see, wrong driver. Oh, yes, Leffler did beat Charles Smith off of pit road. What does it say? To be in the lead. Just to be in the lead, I believe, so. Let's see if we can get a camera angle from here as the base car lights go off. Ah, that's okay. That's clever. I feel the need to be in the lead. That's very clever. That is very, very clever. 62 laps remaining here, as Shane Gross will be getting the field to the green. Some reason the caution or the green flag has been delayed. Not sure why. But on the right side, we will be going green with an even 60 laps remaining. The longest stint these drivers went was about 72 to 75 laps under green. So it is possible for this race to run out to the finish under green. The question is, can they do it? And how will they do it is the question. Whaley Jr. up to third, his race highest. Koshik up to second, his race highest. And Shane Gross up to first. He's been in that position for a very long while. Green flag is out. We are underway once again. Here comes Koshik diving out to the outside. He'll get by the 41 of Shane Gross, actually. This could backfire on Koshik, because to the inside here comes the 41. Can't get it done, though. Sliding way up the racetrack. Was that a jump start by the 33 is my question. Maybe that was just a coincidence that he slid up the racetrack. And Jeremy Horn all over the racetrack on the inside lane. Must have gotten very loose off the corner there. Can essentially put the top 5 under a semi-half-large blanket, but a blanket nonetheless. You can put these 5 cars under. We have the 41, the 33, the 46, the 72, and the 49. All of them in that exact order. Oh gosh, as Whaley Jr. dives it in, are Shane Gross in first in the 41, Koshik second in the 33, Jim Whaley Jr. third in the 46, fourth Stephen Leffler in the 72, James Capar fifth in the 49. Bit of a battle going on in the back as Jeremy Horn gets his way around the Mopar vehicle of Charles Smith. Jeremy Horn just following that Ford EcoBoost sponsored vehicle by Andrew Mraz. Staying under the 45 of Dom Phelps as he lets them by, as Phelps is not on the lead lap. He has 5 laps down. Jeremy Horn is really pushing the race car as best as he can. He was up to second at one point in this race. You can see the completely different lines that are being run here. see if we can just barely take a look at that steering wheel. You see the orange tape? Well, now it's gone. So in this case, look at the left hand and the orange tape over there on that steering wheel. May be able to catch Jordan Horn just ever so slightly gaining loose, but you can see for now he is turning very smoothly. So some micro adjustments on the front straightaway. Keep him going in essentially what is a straight line. James Capehart in the 5th place position. 22 in 6th. The 14 is in 7th. Essentially, this turns out to be just an entirely very long line of race cars, as we have Shane Gross in the lead in number 41, followed by Koshik in the 33, followed by Whaley Jr. in the 46, followed by the 72 of Stephen Luffler in the 72 in the 4th place position. James Capehart rounds out the top 5. Engine Perez in 6th, 7th, Jeremy Horn. 8th is going to be Charles Smith in the number 12. Joshua Witherspoon in the 9th place position. And Joshua Jones rounds out the top 5. He is the lead car 1 lap down. So the first car 1 lap down, as usual, always gets a waiver on the pace car to get their lap back, per usual NASCAR ruling. Go ahead and ride on board with the 33 of Koshik as he makes his way by the 25 of Paul Hopkins, who is a few laps down, 5 laps down actually. And in fact, let's head on board to the gyro cam to see if there's absolutely any banking at this track. About that much. It's very, very, essentially it's a flat track, but you want a very flat track, head to New Hampshire. That track has essentially absolutely zero banking whatsoever. Maybe just about 5 degrees at most, but right here, just in the beginning of turns 3 and 4, you can see it, and then right here just levels off. Smooth, but quick. Trying to figure out what the banking for this track is actually, but you can see that the distance between these front 2 gyros have not really differed in some way, as right now essentially the banking at this track is 0 degrees on the straightaways, so quite literally flat, and then it's 12 degrees in the turn, so there's a 0 degree banking, and then right into 12 degrees. Doesn't seem like much, especially coming off of turn number 4. But to focus on other drivers here in this race, as we have 40 laps to go this time around. Jim Whaley Jr. in the 46. He is currently in 3rd place. last week actually that, or not last week, 2 weeks ago, Rockingham, Jim Riley Jr.'s son was actually watching him race, so somebody better let Riley Jr.'s son know. I believe his name is Zach actually. Somebody better let him know that he's going to be finishing top 3. Andrew Mraz, however, completely sidestepped out the corner. Of course, Riley does have to hold up that 72 of Stephen Leffler, who also has front end damage. Something that looks to be noticeable. I'm not sure, maybe it was just a camera angle. We'll take another look from here. Nope, still some damage on that 46. Stephen Leffler now trying to defend himself from the 22 of Andrew Mraz for 4th place as we have 36 laps to go. This racing, we have been in we have been under racing conditions for almost 30 laps, and that will be, this 30 laps will be starting as of right now. This race is projected to end in about 13 minutes time as of right now. Of course, once again, that is an estimate of when this race is supposed to end, not definite. That is, of course, subject to change. Koshik up to 2nd. Riley Jr. up to 3rd. We could have essentially entire top 3 of drivers that have not yet finished in the top 3 in the series as of yet. Of course, I am saying that it is unconfirmed as of right now, as I want to be 100% sure that all 3 of these drivers currently in the top 3 have not yet finished in the top 3 at all this season. But for now, we have Stephen Leffler in 4th and Andrew Mraz in 5th, and essentially both these drivers are racing their tires off, quite literally. And then there's Jim Boyd in 6th place, who's most likely just letting all of this happen, saving his tires. And there is the 76 of Joshua Jones, unfortunately pole sitter of this race. He qualified first, but unfortunately got almost involved in a wreck. And then the real unfortunate stuff had occurred, which is that the 76 of Jones, unfortunately, must have sped in pit road or exited too many pit stops at once and then sped during that pit stop when he was serving his penalty. So that's something that we'll have to find out essentially at another time. 30 laps to go remain for Shane Gross, who has finished in the top 3 at least once as of the first race of the season, which was at Talladega. Shane Gross had finished 3rd place then, and then he also finished 3rd place at Rockingham Speedway as well, so that's 2 races in the top 3 for him. Then last week at Mile Beach, was completely This is the 5th race, which something that there is a pattern occurring here is that Shane Gross has finished in the podium position, top 3, every odd race. He finished in 3rd at Talladega. He finished in 3rd at Rockingham, both the 1st and 3rd race. This is the 5th race, and this time he's probably going to be finishing in 1st. That depends on what Koshik has to say about that, though. Lap time comparison coming up here on the right-hand side of the driver names. 22.963 versus a 22.949. Basically, they're running identical lap times, minus about, this would be 200ths of a second. Maybe less than that, maybe about 1/100th of a second. Drivers are about 3 or so hundredths off of each other. That is allowing Shane Gross to keep this 0.7 lead, this 7/10th lead. Make that a second, even. and just ever so slightly pulling away every single lap, leaving that 20 or leaving that 33. We stay in a completely different camera angle. But Koshik and Mark Koshik and Jim Whaley Jr., they have also never finished in the top 3 as of yet, so this could benefit them greatly when need be. Of course, for Whaley, though, he'll have to defend Stephen Leffler, but comparing lap times between this 46 and the 72, Jim Whaley Jr. at the moment is fine. 25 laps to go. 24 laps to go this time around for Shane Gross. We could be having another first-time winner in this series. Looking through the field, we don't really have any battles as of yet. Brewing battles, maybe. There's a 46 of Jones, who again started first place on the pole. And unfortunately, complications in his pit stop, possibly speeding, has yet to be confirmed. That's the only thing I can think of, however, so Jones, unfortunately, just a couple lap, or 1 lap down as of right now, and it may have cost him the race win. That's something that we'll find out. That's something I did notice, though, is that Joshua Jones is running a completely different paint scheme. So last week at Myrtle Beach, he was running a red paint scheme. I remember that very, very vividly. So third place last week for Jones at 146 laps. Unfortunately, ended up finishing in 3rd. And complications may be occurring as a little bit of contact between Don Phelps and Jones. Even Leffler got passed by Jeremy Horn for 4th place. Here comes the 46 of Jones with roughly 7.5 minutes remaining in this race, projected at least. They have been green for 45 laps now, with 20 laps remaining. Roughly about 3 or 4 cautions in this race overall. And I think the 41 of Shane Gross may have tagged the wall ever so slightly down the back straightaway. We'll see what the lap times say this time around. 23.28 and 23.20. Lap times continue to just stay the same in the laps, however, continue to get ever so slightly smaller and smaller every single time. And unfortunately for 3rd place, Jeremy Horn has made his way by Jim Whaley Jr. 3 races in a row he has won, broken last week by Charles Smith. And late in the race of this 175 lap event, 14 finally shows back up. The question is, can he stay in the top 3? The secondary, actually the question before that one is, will there be another caution? That just depends on whatever happens in these next 16.5 laps. And that could affect everybody's potential strategy. We maybe see people stay out, maybe see some people pit. It depends on who decides to do what at that time. Oh, Jim Whaley Jr. loose off in the middle of the front straightaway and almost gets tagged from the back bumper by the 76. It's unfortunate, though, that he's fallen to 4th for a moment, but look at that 76 of Jones. He is trying ever so. He's trying his hardest to get by that 76. Or that 46, I should say. 76 versus 46, not for position on the lead lap, however. Looks like Jones will take the outside lane, and that's going to backfire on him ever so slightly as Leffler was looking to the inside at the time. These drivers do have at least one fast repair if they want to use it, which completely fixes your car throughout, well, essentially, it fixes your entire car, makes it brand new. It's like you started the race. The question is, who has used it and who hasn't used it, and who wants to use it but can't. Stephen Leffler now trying to get by for the 4th place position, which could be sending Whaley to 5th. If he does get by, 22 Mraz going to be striking at any moment now during these last few laps. This right here is your closest battle on the raceway for 4th place, and right now it almost worked. Almost a little bit of a shot, actually. More than likely, almost by mistake, but 11 laps to go for Shane Gross in the number 41. That's quickly going to become 10 laps to go. Under 4 minutes remain in this race. Again, estimated under 4 minutes remain. That is now 3 minutes and 47 seconds as that continues to count down with 10 laps to go. Shane Gross has not yet won the race, neither is Mark Koshik. Jeremy Horn has won 3 races in a row, and I think you give up by now, but Jeremy is very, very determined to set his pace in the point standings. He has done that already within the first 3 races. 2nd place last week. 3rd place this week. Could be a slight pattern there, as down to the outside is going to be Stephen Leffler trying to get by Whaley Jr. for 4th place. Andrew Mraz may be coming into the top 5. Now just under 3 minutes and counting down remain for Shane Gross. 8 laps to go. We are quickly approaching the point of no return. What does that mean, you may be asking? Well, the point of no return, essentially, in terms of this, is if the caution comes out with roughly 6 or 5 laps to go, the race is over and it will be ending under caution. This is the one time where you don't want to have the caution come out, is in essentially this little bit of a time frame. Whenever you have the green flag, up until 5 laps to go. When it's 5 or less laps to go, you can relax. Unless you're Shane Gross and you have Mark Koshik breathing down your neck as much as possible. In that case, Koshik has to do everything that he can to get to the back bumper of Shane Gross, and it may be working. 2 tenths were just made up there. Just last time around, it was 0.6 seconds. This time by, look at how much he dives it into the corner there. But getting the acceleration off is that 41 of Shane Gross. And now from here, you're pretty much exited the point of no return. If a caution comes out from here on out, the race is over and Shane Gross can relax. The distance between the 41 and the 33 is always, ever so slightly fluctuating between 4 to 6 tenths of a second. Right now, it completely shot up by 2 tenths as they enter turns 1 and 2 once again. Coming up on lap traffic, will it affect Shane Gross and his run for the win, his first win of the season? Under 1 minute remains. 1 minute remains estimated as of right now, as Koshik will make his move on the outside lane, and not sure what had happened there. I'm not sure if there's contact between Shane Gross or Charles Smith. Charles Smith, unfortunately, has gotten himself disqualified via incident points. If you get 17 or more incident points, you are disqualified. As a whole other conversation. And Koshik gets the wall of turn number 2. He'll dive it down to the inside, unfortunately, involuntarily. Right now, for the final lap of the race, the 41 of Shane Gross, just as Jeremy Horn in the 14 catches up, no less, the 33 of Koshik. Shane Gross in the number 41 finish the podium, finish in 3rd twice in race 1 and race number 3. This time he'll break that, finish 1st In race number 5 here at Martinsville, Shane Gross is your winner, the third winner of this season. Great job to Shane Gross. Koshik running out the, actually Koshik and Jeremy Horn round out the top 3, and Shane Gross is more than likely, no doubt, going to instantly burn down his tires as much as possible. Or pass the start-finish line and forego all of that. Victory lap for Shane Gross in the 41, his first race win of this series. I'll give you an update on who led how many laps in a few moments' time. Once we get the information, we will hand that over to you. But stay tuned for interviews, as your top 3 will be getting interviewed after this, starting with Jeremy Horn. So your results for this race: Shane Gross finishes in first place. Mark Koshik finishes in second. Jeremy Horn rounds out the top 3. They will be interviewed in a few moments' time. Jim Whaley Jr. and Stephen Loeffler round out 4th and 5th place position, respectively. Andrew Mraz finishes in 6th. 7th, James Capehart. 8th will be Joshua Witherspoon. 9th will be Joshua Jones. Rounding out the top 10 will be Kyle Nadeau. Then the rest of your 17-car field will be 11th of Charles Smith. Don Phelps finishes 12th. 13th, Paul Hopkins. 14th is Jeff Dotson. Unfortunately, Michael Palmer, Noah Lewis, and Paul Cohen ran into their own individual problems for this race. So they unfortunately have not finished. And that, unfortunately, is how it will be for the final race, or for the 5th race for them. Final broadcasted race by us, or in more cases me, but I like saying us because it sounds less self-centered, I guess is the word to look for. Anywho, top 3 being interviewed in just a few months. We will be starting with the 14 of Jeremy Horn. When we do have time, the 33 of Koshik, and then we will be ending with the 41 of Shane Gross, your race winner for this race. So just a few moments time and we'll be interviewing the 3rd place finisher of Jeremy Horn.
Activated.
Here with the 3rd place finisher of Jeremy Horn. Do you have a copy on us?
Yeah, I got you, Gary.
Well, you almost had. Well, you did have another podium finish once again this week, and unfortunately, it was just at the end of the race where he managed to catch the 33 and the 41, but unfortunately, it was too late. But on the bright side, you did manage to once again finish in 3rd. So this week, Martinsville, of course, being Martinsville, was pretty brutal. How did you manage to survive that and catch up to these front 2 runners at the end of the race?
Man, I have no clue. I probably get the award for passing the most cars. I had to come through the field twice tonight. Once because of my mistake, speeding down pit road on that first caution, and Every other caution after that, I don't know if it was something going on with iRacing or what, but my car was pitted twice. Uh, the last two times I come down pit road, so I don't know what happened. I know that last pit stop I had was two 21-second pit stops. So I honestly don't know how I kept it out of. I don't know how I was up with them at the end because my car was just, it was just trash at the end. I mean, Andrew and I, we kind of beat and banged for a little bit there, and then just getting loose and slapping the wall. It was really difficult to keep the car under you.
Yeah, we noticed many drivers getting loose and trying to push it as hard as they can, and then of course the brake rotors, of course, no doubt have to be fried by this point. So somehow they managed to survive this entire 175 lap endeavor. And throughout the race, I did notice that the track was beginning to rubber up ever so slightly in the corners. So did that help out your car any, or did it just not really do anything, especially since this track is so short?
It I'm a driver that kind of likes a freer car, and this thing was tight everywhere. I was sliding off the corner just because it was so tight that I just had so much wheel into it. But the trickiest part was once the track got rubbered up, we were getting so many RPMs going down the front and the back stretch. About three-quarters of the way down, you had to be really careful because you'd hit the rev limiter, and sometimes it just shoot your car, to the right. And I know I hit the wall like once or twice just because of that. But that was probably the most difficult thing. But the track definitely did tighten up quite a bit, and it was just plowing there at the end.
Luckily, you managed to, in a way, plow your way up to the front and third place. So, before I let you go, anyone that you'd like to give a shout out to for your third place finish here this week?
I would just like to thank everybody over at RTRL again and Jeff. They put on a great show. Thank you for broadcasting. I think this is your last night, if I'm not mistaken, with us. And just thank you for all that you did. Thank everybody for watching, and just my wife and son for sparing the time with me to let me come out and do this.
Yeah, that is correct. Last broadcast for now, at the very least, but definitely. But it has been fun, so hopefully we'll be back eventually. But for now, congratulations on finishing third.
Thank you very much.
So that was third place finisher, Jeremy Horn, and then we will now be moving on to your second place finisher in the number 33, who, of course, somehow managed to make his way up to third in his own way, or up to second, I should say. That is the 33 of Mark Koshik, who we will be interviewing in just a few moments' time. More specifically, as of right now. Mark Koshik, driver of the number 33. Do you have a copy on this?
Yeah, I hear you.
Well, you managed to somehow pull off a second place finish here at Martinsville, and even more shocking as it's Martinsville, but you managed to survive and got your first podium finish this, essentially this season. So somehow, again, you survived Martinsville, so that is a feat in its own right. How did you manage to play yourself into pit strategy to get up to second?
Well, it wasn't pit strategy, and shocking is the right word because I'm not a short track guy, and normally my game is to stay in the back until all the stuff is done and then try to move up. And usually I end up in the back still. But tonight, for some reason, I I took too early. Yeah, so maybe it was pit strategy, and I ended up in the front. And I said, you know what? I'm going to try something different and try to stay up front and see what happens. And usually, even if you say you're going to try to stay up front, it doesn't work out. But tonight it worked out for whatever reason. I stayed up front and really had a drama-free race. And I liked the setup. The car felt fine to me. And some people were complaining about this, that. And the only thing that I had to worry about is every once in a while under acceleration, it would do a drag racer thing and try to step out. And you had to pedal it. But aside from a few catches, I managed to, yeah, just and and I was saving my stuff for a run at Shane at the end because I've raced enough with Shane to know he's not going to do something stupid, which he didn't. And I was just trying to save some stuff to do something at the end for fun, and I don't know, it fell apart on the last lap. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, you almost dived it in, and then unfortunately everything just didn't work out after that. But it did
Yeah, I
work
think it
out.
slid to the inside, and then
Yeah,
I was just playing defense after that to keep Jeremy behind me.
yeah. On the bright side, they did manage to again come home with a second place finish. So of course, somehow, before he lets you go, though, is there anyone that you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, no, thanks for broadcasting the races, man. It was really fun to be able to watch these things back. And you know, of course, all of Rolling Thunder League, all the guys that show up, and you know, it's a fun league.
It's definitely been fun to broadcast. So hopefully we'll be back when the timing is good, and then we'll be back on this because this is absolutely amazing. So we're going to go ahead and let you go. Congratulations once again on your first podium finish.
All right, thanks.
So that was the second place finisher, Mark Koshik, and now, of course, we head to the race winner, which is the number 41 of Shane Gross. Point standings are still not set up as of yet, so that's something that we'll have to be waiting for. But for now,
Zoomed.
we have the race winner, first time race winner of Shane Gross. Congratulations on that. Ironically, you made, goodness, how am I supposed to say this? You made 3 podium finishes on every odd race so far this season, so no doubt this track somehow absolutely likes you.
Yeah, I love this track. It was a fun race. I couldn't get the car going up under me under qualifying, so when we went to qualifying, I just drove the car in deep, and it stuck. So started up front, and that helped me out a lot. And once your tires wear out, you're pretty much riding wherever you're at.
Yeah, once these tires were out at this track, especially with the race length, with the green flag runs that we had, both 75 and 65 laps, those tires can definitely get away very, very quickly from you, especially that right front, because those, on the long run like that, tires are essentially pretty much shot at that point.
Yeah, the 2 long runs, they got a little bit tough there at the end. I ain't ashamed to say it, my arms got a little bit tired, but it was starting to catch the RPMs up at the end of the straightaway, and it's starting to spin the tires before you go into the turn. So there at the end of the race, I bumped the wall a little bit, watching the 33 catch me, and I held him off somehow. I don't know how, and then I looked up and seen the 14 coming too, so I was just praying no caution come out. I was holding my line. I was going to let them pass me.
Yeah, I was mentioning essentially was the point of no return, which is where you want the caution to come out, and then where you don't want it to come out, which is essentially about, well, it's pretty much from anywhere from 5 laps to go to the start of the race when you're leading. But no doubt you definitely managed to prevail and hold off Koshik and Jeremy, even though Jeremy was catching up. But either way, you managed to pull off your first win of the season. So anyone that you'd like to give a shout out to here tonight?
Yeah, appreciate you guys up there putting this on for us, and everybody here at Roaring Thunder, all the admins and everybody, and a shout out to everybody at Old Schools Motorsports, and a little extra shout out to Tony Gray for throwing this paint on here tonight. I told him he must put a little something extra in it to make it a little quicker for me.
Yeah, I must have made that just ever so slightly, just a little bit lighter for you to race in somehow. But nonetheless, congratulations once again. We are going to go ahead and let you go.
Thank you.
That was the race winner, Shane Gross. Congratulations once again to him. And of course, for the not exactly final last time, but semi-final last time, I'd like to thank Roaring Thunder Racing League, of course, and Jeff Dotson for both being understanding and letting me broadcast these first 5 races, because this is absolutely incredible to watch. And of course, these slow motion shots of before we want to bring it down. Look at that suspension just completely bent. My gosh. But aside from that, we are going to go ahead and sign off. I have been Gear Weaver of the Racing Line Broadcasting Network. Keep an eye on this channel to any updates that you want to see. When will you see them? Well, that just depends on whenever we upload next. So expect to see our updates some other time, hopefully within the coming month or next 2 months. I have been, again, Gary Weaver, and we thank you all for watching, and goodbye.